The drama surrounding this game was written before the ball was ever tipped. Oklahoma City walked into Vegas at 24-1, riding a franchise record 16-game winning streak, playing basketball that felt inevitable. This was not just a hot start. This was history. The best record through 25 games the league had ever seen. A team operating with precision, confidence, and balance on both ends of the floor. They did not just beat opponents. They suffocated them early and coasted late. Most nights, the fourth quarter barely mattered. So when this NBA Cup matchup was announced, there was no real suspense. San Antonio was supposed to show up, compete hard, and eventually get buried. That is how these stories usually end. Except this one didn't follow the script. Victor Wembanyama returned after nearly a month on the shelf with a calf strain. And even then, he was not unleashed. Minutes restriction. Coming off the bench. No appearance in the opening quarter. On paper it felt like a mistake. Oklahoma City does not wait for you to settle in. They pounce. And early on, it looked like the nightmare scenario was unfolding exactly as expected. The Thunder jumped out to a 14-4 lead, capped by one of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's effortless baseline pull-ups. The kind of shot that quietly tells you the game is already slipping away. But San Antonio refused to let it spiral. The role players dug in. They tightened defensively, hit just enough shots, and survived the first quarter down 11. Against most teams, that margin is manageable. Against Oklahoma City, it usually means the flood is coming. Instead, it meant the Spurs were still alive. Then Victor stepped on the floor, and the entire game changed without him even needing to score. His first offensive impact came on the glass, crashing in for a tip-in that instantly shifted the tone. The next possession, he grabbed another offensive rebound and sprayed the ball out to a shooter for a clean three. Chaos followed. Missed shots turned into opportunities. Broken plays turned into points. At one moment, he literally lost his footing, fell to the floor, and still managed to find a teammate in the corner for another three. In a matter of minutes, the Spurs were winning his minutes convincingly. Plus-minus can be misleading, but not on nights like this. Every possession told the same story. When Victor sat again, the collapse was immediate. Oklahoma City pushed the lead back out to 16, carving through the paint like he had never been there. And then he checked back in, and the tap shut off. His presence alone forced Isaiah Hartenstein away from the rim, opening driving lanes for De'Aaron Fox. Fox attacked. Fox scored. On the other end, Devin Vassell erased a Shai jumper. Victor swallowed up an alley attempt. Suddenly, San Antonio was running again, turning stops into transition points. A 10-point run appeared out of nowhere. Then came the shot. Victor isolated up top, stared down his defender, and drilled a pull-up three straight through the defense. Moments earlier, the Spurs were down 16. By halftime, they were down 3. 13 unanswered points fueled by nothing more than Victor bending reality every time he was on the floor. Offensively, the spacing looked clean. Defensively, Oklahoma City was pushed into contested jumpers, an area that quietly sits beneath their dominance. Victor finished the first half as a +20 in just 7 minutes. It did not make sense. It did not feel fair. And it was not finished. The third quarter opened with grit. San Antonio briefly took its first lead behind Fox's relentless control of tempo. Victor's minutes were carefully managed, and by the end of the third, he had barely touched the floor. That was the plan all along. Save him, protect him, and then unleash him when it matters. The fourth quarter began with Victor starting, and immediately, he reminded everyone why the league has been holding its breath since he entered it. A block on a fadeaway. A smooth turn-and-shoot jumper over a smaller defender. A ridiculous finish in semi-transition off a pass that never should have worked. Every touch felt heavy. Every decision bent the defense. And this was not a solo act. Fox hit a massive three. A blown alley by Oklahoma City turned into a Vassell triple the other way. Stephon Castle bullied his way to tough finishes, then leaked out for easy buckets. San Antonio's bench stepped up. The moment did not swallow them. They played free. Victor checked back in for the final stretch and detonated the building with an alley dunk off an inbounds play. Oklahoma City answered. San Antonio answered back. Shot for shot. Stop for stop. Even a miracle block from Lou Dort could not swing the game fully back. When Oklahoma City missed a point-blank layup in transition moments later, it felt like the door slammed shut. San Antonio closed with discipline, defense, and composure, sealing a 111-109 win that did not just send them to the NBA Cup final. It rewrote how this season has to be viewed. Victor finished with 22 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, and a combined 3 steals and blocks in just 21 minutes, shooting efficiently and finishing a plus 21. That was not a return. That was a reminder. But the most important part of this story is not the stat line. It is what came before it. This win does not happen if San Antonio does not survive the month without Victor. They won 9 of 12 games during that stretch. Quiet wins. Gritty wins. Wins that forced them to learn how to function without the cheat code. De'Aaron Fox became the engine again, carrying the offense at an all-star level. Stephon Castle announced himself with a breakout performance against the Lakers. Devin Vassell delivered night after night, including a massive showing against Denver. By the time Victor came back, this was not a team waiting to be rescued. It was a team that had already learned how to stand. That is what makes this terrifying. Fox finished with 22 points, controlling the tempo whenever Oklahoma City threatened to run away. Vassell matched him with 23, answering every push with a calm confidence. Castle added another 22, attacking gaps and finishing through contact like the moment belonged to him. This was not Victor dragging a fragile roster across the finish line. This was Victor amplifying a group that already believed. And when you zoom out, the data confirms what the eye test screams. With Victor on the floor, San Antonio's defense transforms completely. Shot selection changes. Driving lanes vanish. Opponents settle. That defensive ceiling rose in real time against the best team in basketball. The question now is not whether this works. It is how high the ceiling actually is. The Fox-Wembanyama partnership has barely had time to breathe due to injuries, but if they string together real continuity, the pick-and-roll and pick-and-pop possibilities alone could redefine the West. Add in the depth, the versatility, the defensive answers, and suddenly this is not a feel-good story. This is a warning. San Antonio is 18-7, despite losing Victor for nearly a month. A top 10 offense. A defense that is about to take another leap. Physical. Deep. Adaptable. This is not a team anyone wants to see in a playoff series. And on the other side, Oklahoma City will be fine. This loss does not derail them. If anything, it sharpens them. But this night belonged to San Antonio. This was the moment they arrived. So here's the real question. Is Victor Wembanyama already a top 5 player in the NBA? Are the Spurs officially a real threat in the West? And how high do you think their ceiling goes once this group fully gels? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit like if you felt the shift, and subscribe so you don't miss what comes next. Because this season just changed, and not everyone is ready for what San Antonio is becoming.